Welcome. My name is Key Allen, and my hope is to walk with you as we learn to follow the Lord Jesus more closely. Our focus today is why darkness gathered around the Lord Jesus from the beginning. Let's turn to the Word. When we read the Gospels closely, we start to notice something. The Lord Jesus never steps onto an empty stage. From the moment he appears, forces are already moving, some visible, some hidden, some political, some spiritual. Together, they form the shadow side of his ministry, the backdrop against which his light becomes unmistakable. And understanding those shadows helps us understand his mission. The first opposition doesn't come from a Pharisee or a Roman soldier. It comes from Herod the Great in Matthew 2. Before the Lord Jesus can speak his first word, a paranoid king tries to erase him from history. That's how the story begins: a fragile infant, a murderous ruler, and a quiet flight into Egypt. The shadows are already moving. When the Lord Jesus steps into public ministry, the opposition shifts. Now it's not a king with soldiers, it's the unseen realm. The Spirit leads him into the wilderness in Matthew 4, and there he meets the adversary face to face. The temptations aren't random, they're strategic. Use your power for yourself. Take the kingdoms without the cross. Prove yourself on my terms. The enemy tries to bend the mission before it even begins. But the Lord Jesus walks out of the wilderness with his identity unshaken and his purpose sharpened. As his ministry grows, the opposition becomes more subtle. It shows up in the religious establishment, not because they were cartoon villains, but because they were deeply invested in a system his authority threatened. Every healing on the Sabbath, every meal with sinners, every word about the kingdom pressed against their boundaries. They weren't just defending tradition, they were defending control, and his authority unsettled them. Meanwhile, another shadow moves behind the scenes: the Herodian dynasty. Herod Antipas, the man who silenced John the Baptist in Mark 6, watches the Lord Jesus with the same suspicion his father had. A prophet stirring crowds in Galilee is the last thing he wants. Miracles draw attention, and attention draws danger. And then there are the crowds. They're not enemies, but they're unpredictable. One moment, they want to crown him king. The next, they're offended and walk away. Their expectations, political, nationalistic, immediate, pull against his mission. They want a Messiah who fits their story. The Lord Jesus came to rewrite the story entirely. But the deepest opposition comes from within his own circle. Judas doesn't betray the Lord Jesus because he hates him. He betrays him because he misunderstands him. Judas wants a Messiah who forces the kingdom into the open. The Lord Jesus refuses to seize power the way the world does. And that disappointment becomes a doorway for darkness. As the story reaches its climax, all the shadow forces converge. The religious leaders fear losing their influence. The crowds are restless. Rome is on edge. Herod is curious but cynical. Judas is disillusioned. And behind it all, the enemy presses in, trying to smother the light before it reaches the cross. But here's the irony. Every force opposing him ends up advancing his mission. Herod's violence fulfills prophecy. Satan's temptations clarify his obedience. The religious leader's hostility drives him to the cross. Judas' betrayal sets the final events in motion. Rome's execution becomes the world's redemption. The shadow side never wins. It only reveals the brilliance of the one who walks through it. And when we step back and look at the whole story, we see something remarkable. The Lord Jesus never avoids the darkness. He walks straight into it, calm, deliberate, unafraid, because he knows exactly why he came. The forces opposing him don't derail the mission. They highlight the unstoppable purpose of the Son of God. And the same is true today. The shadows never win, and his light still breaks through. If this stirred your desire to follow him more closely, stay on this journey with me. Click like and subscribe so we can keep growing together. Keep seeking Him in the quiet moments of your week, and may His presence lead you step by step. See you next time.